Hello and welcome to 3.1, Use a Problem-Solving Strategy. Um, well, this is a section, or rather this is a chapter. It's filled with word problems. And at the mention of the word problems, you have certain thoughts flooding your minds right now. So I want to address that first. We tend to have negative images, thoughts, experiences come to our mind when we think of word problems, and that immediately becomes a barrier to success. More so in our course, Math 62 is all about hands-on. We really try to understand why we need these concepts, where we will use them, how we can translate them for real life, and so on. So this is a course where you cannot afford to say, I don't like word problems. This course is filled with word problems, but not in the negative connotation that we see it from past experience. As you can see in this image, you could say, I don't know whether to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. I don't know what it's saying. Or you could say, I don't understand word problems. Just shut it off like that. I don't understand them. I will not go further into it. Or you could put the blame on someone else. Say, my teachers never explained this to me. Or you could just have just a pass or fail attitude, and all you care is to pass this course. So you say, oh, well, I can skip all these things, I can still pass the course. Or you could be in such a dejected mode that you could just say, oh, I just can't do this. I'm going to give up on this. I hear this all the time. After a point, it gets a little annoying that, people just keep saying this. And I wonder, why do they really need to study these things if they don't want to apply them in real life, right? What is the motivation to study abstract concepts if you are not going to use them in life? And so, that's the first thing that comes to my mind, that this negative thing has to be removed for you to even begin to pay attention to what's being explained in these sections and chapters. Well, in our class, we are doing active learning. So these videos are only overviews. They are not meant to give you a complete lecture. They are not meant to replace any lecture. They are supplements to your learning. So if you are watching this video from a regular course or for an online course, again, remember that this overview helps you, guides you to actually work out the problems from the exercises and by reviewing the book, because the book has a lot more solved examples and so on. The book is free, OpenStax. So you really can get more resources. So the whole idea is active learning involves collaboration and research. If you don't search for answers in a research mode, you're really not going to enjoy the course, right? And most often we search for answers, we don't research our answers. So that is also a difference in the way we approach life, approach problems in life. So I really want you to get away from this negative mode. Remember, we have explosive studies that relate to growth mindset. Neuroscience tells us that brain plasticity allows for your brain to grow no matter what your age, no matter what stage you're in, because you really can allow your brains to expand, to grow literally, just by having a growth mindset, having a positive outlook, just by saying, okay, I'm going to try this, I'm going to give it a shot, I'm going to see how I succeed in this. And that attitude alone can take you a long way, because you are not shutting down, you're being open, right? So I want you to try and carry these positive thoughts in your mind. So let's say, while word problems were hard in the past, I think I can try them now. Just say that. Say it out loud. As you're watching this, pause the video and think about it. That can really, really help you to process and confront certain fears you have. And you can tell yourself, I'm better prepared now because we've done chapter 2, and chapter 3 is going to use what we've learned in chapter 2. So you've learned chapter 2, so you feel prepared. I think I will begin to understand word problems. So you have assistance today with all these free online resources. You have us instructors that you can come and visit. We have the math lab. You can go and take help from math faculty. and it's open for long hours. You could go to the library. You could meet in groups with your own peers. If you're doing an online course, then you could actually form an online group. You're already doing group work. Perhaps you could make friends within the group. And you could come together and work your problems. Set aside an hour each day, or set aside a few hours each week, and come together and work. And I'm sure that you could work this through. And you need to believe that you can do it. Okay? And allow yourself the time. It may take time, but you can begin to solve word problems. So with all these positive outlooks and throwing away all negative impressions you've had before, take it away and throw it away, because it's useless. I tell you, it's only impeding your growth. It's not doing you any good. Throw it away, start afresh, begin afresh, fill yourself with fresh ideas and say, yes, I can do this. It's not so difficult, because humanity has improved by handling and solving word problems. So I can do this because we are in an advanced state in life. Okay. Well, we do have some help when it comes to problem-solving strategy. I have actually built a 7-step template that you can see here. And you could use that for almost any word problem, at least for Math 62. It's not going to be too extremely STEM related. So it is completely non-STEM, and therefore it will be practical and manageable for you. So the 7 steps are: read the problem, make sure you understand it, identify what you're looking for, that's important, you should know what is missing, name what is missing, because that is the part of algebra, right? We don't keep saying missing variable, we give a letter to it. So name your variable that's missing. Then translate what you have into an equation. Usually you're able to translate it by common sense. Sometimes you're able to translate it by using formulas like area of a rectangle, perimeter of a triangle, and so on. Known formulas can help you bridge the variables. So just translate it into an equation, because that's the point where your English converts into math. Then once it's a mathematical equation, then you use all algebra techniques to solve. Once you solve it, check the answer, because it's word problem. You can't use the answers as raw as they are. Sometimes you may have to round down, round up, and so on. So you really need to see if you can check your answers in the word problem. Finally, go back and interpret. You need to answer the question, because in word problem, you're trying to answer a problem. So go back, take your answer, and interpret it in context of the problem. All right, let's get started. Ravi bought a purse on sale for $18, probably for his mother, which is 1/2 of the original price. What was the original price of the purse? Okay. So read the problem and try to understand what it's saying. Okay. So again, you really may not have much to fill in this one, but all I'm trying to understand is, as I read this problem, is $18 is 1/2 of the original price. I just left it right from the problem. That's the theme there. That's the key information there. Okay. So we need to identify, right, what we're looking for. What are we looking for? Well, the question says, what was the original price? We're looking for the original price of the purse. It's asking me something. Okay. Original price of the purse. Now we have to name that missing information. So let's just use P as the variable, because it's too long a phrase for us to keep repeating, right? Original price of the purse. We're going to give it a letter and say P is now going to be the original price of the purse. Okay. Now it's time to translate this into an equation. Okay. Translating is where we try to do step 1, 2, and 3 and bring them all together. So $18 is 1/2 of the original price. That's what is given to us. Let's convert that. 18 is 1/2 of the original price. The original price is nothing but your P. So it's 1/2 of P. right? 1/2 times p. That's it. Right there, you got your problem solved, at least halfway. Once you got it translated into an equation, you need to solve the problem here in step 5. Well, multiply by, you need to get p by itself. So multiply by its reciprocal. The reciprocal of half is 2 over 1. Multiply both sides by 2 over 1, or rather 2. Cancel that off. 2 times 18 is 36. And the right side, everything is cleared. You just have the p. So p is 36, which means the original price of the purse is 36. 1/2 of that is 18. It's beginning to make sense, right? So that's what the next step says. Okay. 18 is 1/2 of original price. That's what the original problem says, which is 1/2. We just found the original price to be 36. So cross cancel that. 18. And what do you get? You get 18 equals 18. Check. Well, it does make sense. Yes. It makes sense. Don't simply say it makes sense. You need to say how it makes sense by checking. And then finally, interpret your answer. For that, you need to just lift the phrase from the question and simply say the original price of the purse is or was, because there was a discount, it should be a was, $36. Now remember, in our calculation, we just wrote 36. But when we interpret, you need to attach the unit. When I say unit, I need you to attach the measurement. This was measured in dollars, right? So $36. If it's a question that requires you to write in feet, you write feet. It wants you to say square inches, square inches. So the wording is very important, and the correct answer is the number, but the correct unit should be attached to the correct answer. That's it. We're done with that problem. That wasn't too bad, right? It was a systematic move through the problem. So some problems are very intuitive. You might get the answer right away, which is totally fine. That's what we want. The ultimate goal is that you become intuitive. But remember that this is a math course, so we expect you to apply mathematical techniques, because that is a systematic, robust way of getting an exact answer as opposed to guessing. In math, we're not going to be guessing, right? For that, we don't really need the math then. So that's the whole idea of these steps. Let's move to the next problem. Ranjay bought a bookcase on sale for $120, which was 2/3 of the original price. What was the original price of the bookcase? Very, very similar. Again, you could pause the video, follow these steps and race ahead, and we can compare our answers. All right. When I read the problem, I know that this is going to say $120 is 2/3. When I write it in words, because right away I want to only use the phrase from the problem, 2/3 of the original price. What was the original price of the bookcase? That means that's what we're looking for the original price of the bookcase. Okay, for variety, I'm going to call it B. Okay, B is the original price. B for bookcase. Okay. That's my cursive B, because I don't want my B to look like a 6. If I were to write my B like this, it's going to look like a 6 eventually if I stop. If I start writing sloppy. So that's my B. Let's translate into the equation. So $120 is 2/3, right? That translates directly. 2/3 of the original price, 2/3 of B. Of means multiplication, right? So 2/3 times B. Well, you know of is multiplication because you probably saw that in pre-algebra. So go ahead and refresh those phrases to math conversion in those topics. All right, this time we can solve this by doing 120 equals 2/3 B and multiply by the reciprocal of 2/3. The flip of 2/3 is 3/2. Do that on both sides to keep the balance going. Well, on the right side, the move is intentional so that it produces a B without any numbers. So you get B by itself. Simplify on the right-hand side. Okay, 2 times 1, 260, and you get B as 180. Okay. Does this make sense? So let's come back here and we say, well, we said 120 is 2/3 of the original price, and the original price we just found in step 5 to be 180. Again, use your cross cancellation. 6, 0, 60. That gives me 120. 120 equals 120 on both sides. So that's a mathematical check. Then we say, yes, it makes sense. Then we come down to step 7, which is to rewrite the answer in the original, and then a complete sentence and context of the problem. So I'd say the original price of the bookcase, right? Okay. Bookcase is 180, not 120. 120 was given in the problem. We used that to check, so don't get confused. What we found was in step 5, which was 180. It was money, so dollars. Okay. Ria and her classmates formed a study group. The number of girls in the study group was 3 more than twice the number of boys. There were 11 girls in the study group. How many boys were in the study group? Okay. When you read this problem, usually you're groaning and moaning and you're saying, oh, I don't like these ones. But it's not so bad because in many cases, we, what do I say? Unbeknownst, we use this kind of language. We tend to say 3 more than, that was twice the price of what I saw in the other store. So we speak like that. So it's not so alien to see problems like this. So we're going to handle this, okay? All right, so let's read the problem. Really nothing there to do. But if you see, we have two parts in the question. Okay, one was, it said, the number of girls was 3 more than twice. Oops. Than twice the boys. I'm having some difficulty writing. Okay, I think I'm thinking faster than I can write. There were 11 girls in the study group. How many boys were there? Okay, that's one part of the problem. Meaning when I read the problem, that's one thing I understand. The number of girls is 11. So I get these 2 parts. I'm holding on to that. Step 2 is to identify what we're looking for. We're looking for the number of boys, right? So we're looking for number of boys in the study group. Okay, now that we've identified what we're looking for, let's assign a letter to it. Shall we call it N? N is the number of boys. Okay, so in my equation, I'm going to use N and not the long phrase number of boys. Okay, we need to go back to what we had. We said number of girls was 3 more than twice the boys. Number of girls. Do we have information on the number of girls? Yes, we do. Okay, so I'm just going to use this part here Okay, number of girls, that's given to be 11. Was, is, will be is all the same as equals. 3 more. 3 more. 3 more plus. Then twice the boys. 2 times the boys. Do we know the number of boys? We don't know, but we know that we're going to call it n. Okay. So I'm using step 1 to kind of build my equation. And in step 4, I'm going to write the translated version. So it's 11 equals 3 plus 2n. Look at that. That's now a nice proper equation. It's time for us to solve it. So 11 equals 3 plus 2n means we need to get n by itself. Minus 3 minus 3. That gives us 11 minus 3, which is 8. 2n. I need to move this up here. So 8 equals 2n. I should have given more space there. Okay, divide both sides by 2. Remember, n is on the right side, so your focus is on n and the 2 that needs to be removed from there. That's going to be 4 equals n. Okay, so it turns out that n is, number of boys is 4. Let's check that. Okay. So 11, we just built the equation in step 5. So just try to plug that in there. 2 times, we just found n to be 4. So let's solve that. So 11, 3 plus 8, 11 equals 11, that's true. So we say yes. It makes sense that the boys are lesser than the girls. Right? That's a common sense judgment we make when we read this problem. And when we check it, it's looking good. Now we come back and interpret. Well, they wanted us to know how many boys there were, so just stick to that. The number of boys, or I could say there were 4 boys in the study group. Again, boys is the variable, is the unit, because you have 4 boys, so you can't attach a dollar symbol, or you can say inches or this or that. So we're looking for 4 boys because those are the 2 variables, boys or girls. And so we were told what the number of girls was. We were asked to find the number of boys, and got that. So as you can see, this was not bad at all. And in fact, we could do a literal translation from words to numbers and letters. And so I think that was a very nice start for us to begin to embrace word problems. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.